So remembering, ladies and gentlemen, the first and last time the F2s will be on track here tonight at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway for the last lap. 96 years here at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway. And this is the brainchild of Bill Buckley, who was on the back of one of the vehicles tonight with Graham Standring. Obviously promoter and motorcycle sidecar legend here in New Zealand as well, and truly one of the true innovators of tech here in New Zealand as well. So great to see an awesome field of F2s here for the last time at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway, a 20-car field. And I tell you what, the front row in particular, the names that we've thrown around here at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway for so long, in particular when it comes to F2 racing, James Earl and Corbin Anderson with a front row lockout. I tell you what, it's going to be exciting, and these two are going to put on one heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen. Those two cars off the front are going to throw absolutely everything at it as we get set to go green very shortly. And drivers are looking good in position, and we're going to go full wide as a salute to you, the fans in the crowd as well. So as they drive by, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the F2s for their final laps around Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway. So as they complete their full wide salute here for the final time, they'll break formation get themselves gridded up, and it is going to be the 69, the pace setter off the front of Corbin Anderson as they salute one more time around Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway. A big field, so many drivers graduating through this category and move on to truly bigger and better things. And a young gun who has done exactly that is the number 97 we see in the A-grade midget category at the moment, which is Ben Morrison. And so many others as well, because it is the development category for so many drivers. Other drivers like Jordan McDonnell and the likes graduating through this program, moving on to A-grade cars. Corbin Anderson still actually running F2s, as we see on the outside of the front row, but actually having campaigned both midgets and sprint cars. So cars in formation, looking good, and the Mahindra safety vehicle is off the track, and we're set to go green for the F2 feature. As we get set to go green, the front row is Devin George and Corbin Anderson, and it is going to be Anderson that gets the jump down into Bud's turn number 1, and a little bit deeper back to this one as we see Corbin Anderson just stretch away from Devin George in the 22 at this point in time as the drivers run top shelf on. James Earl's caught up in there as well. So Earl, later Kendall, Tyler Brown, and it looks like the 62 of Rodney James. No, it's the 12 of Declan Inter. Just caught up on the back end of that, and it looks like it may be right front damage maybe to Tyler Brown's car. We're going to have to wait and see. So the 22 on our grids was actually set, as we see a replay here. So big back it in moment there from Leighton Kendall in the 81, and unfortunately Bryn Jackson, James Earl getting caught up in there along with Declan Inter and Tyler Brown as well. So we'll wait and see. All cars at this point looking A-okay. No, Tyler Brown's actually out of that car by the looks already. So Leighton Kendall backs it in early. Bryn Jackson just getting in there, light contact with the remaining cars, but unfortunately it looks like, yeah, right front axle not looking good on the number 96, unfortunately there for Tyler Brown. Although they're trying to move that race car, are they going to? He definitely unclipped his belts, and yeah, the right front is looking particularly sad, yeah. So how about it from doing wheel pack and sitting around all night for the feature race, and unfortunately a DNF for the last time here for the 96 Tyler Brown. Brown family, long-time Speedway supporters, and Tyler's cousin Josh Brown securing that third spot on the podium in the Kiwi Kids Quarter Midget. Unfortunately, Declan Inter out of this one as well. with similar right front axle damage as well to that race car. So on our grids, it was actually set out from what we had was James Earl off the front row. So apologies for that. In fact, it was Devon George and Corbin Anderson was the front row lockout. So it was the other 22 machine. And we're going to be back to full original grids once again with Devon George and Corbin Anderson once again as our front row. We'll get the drivers all gridded up and back in position and set for the 20-lap F2 feature once again. Just as we see the 81 just circulating there, you'll notice that the left rear tyre has actually gone down, whether it's got a puncture of some sort or whether it doesn't look like there's a bleeder in there. So unfortunately just a tyre with zero pressure in it for Leighton Kendall. So he's going to start rear field in this one because he caused that yellow light to come on. So he'll start rear field in this one. So another retirement to the infield as well, whilst we're under caution for the number 7 A2 machine. So unfortunate incident there, but it does leave a whole lot of vacant grid positions on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th row. So that is good news for the car starting on the outside of the 4th row, number 27 of Lindsay Gate. Lights are out around Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway for the last laps. For the F2s, Corbin Anderson, Devon George is your front row, and we are green. And Corbin Anderson gets out to an early lead. He goes top shelf, and Devon George just straightens up the middle of the corner there. And certainly Corbin Anderson's got the legs to run that higher line there, but the Tiger Turf, number 87 of Ben Matthews getting in there as well. So rounding around the outside of Devon George is the number 87 of Matthews. Can he clear Devon George? Whilst these two are duking out, it does allow the Garrett Turbochargers All-Tech number 69 to just stretch ahead and build that gap. As we see a little bit deeper in this one, troubles for the 62 of Rodney James in the Jackson Road Haulers machine, as we see Devon George just check up, and Bo Padgett and the number 94 Jeffries just getting into the back of each other. So this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th on screen. Then it's back to the number 73, the driver that's trying to go high and wide and find an extra lane, trying to work the outside of Blake Ellison. But he's right back with the likes of James Earl and the number 22, trying to work his way forward. This is where the gaggle of cars start building. The front two have already checked out, and then it's Devon George with Bo Padgett and Troy Jeffries right behind them as you see the drivers trying to navigate through that rut there. And as we say it, as James Earl goes round all on his own. And a lucky escape there for the Lucas Oil, number 25 of Holly Russell, almost getting caught up there as well. And just the R&S Automotive machine just looked like it had no right rear grip and found himself doing a full 360 and managing to get away unscathed. So he hooked the left front down on the left-hand side of the rut below the concrete line, and that just unsettled the car. And great job by Holly Russell, the young F2 rookie, now residing over in Australia, and come over tonight for the last lap. Last laps here for the F2s as well, as we see James Earl in the 22 pull to the infield. Is Jimmy going to retire? We're about to wait and find out. And yes, indeed he does. So unfortunate there for James Earl. That is not how he wanted to finish his F2 campaign at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway, but a couple of drivers taking advantage of moving up a couple of spots where James was running. He was running in the mid-pack, sort of around that 10th spot. Now he's going to join one of his fellow buddies in the bunker of Tyler Brown. So unfortunate there for James Earl. Lights are out at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway. Corbin Anderson, the pace setter, off the front row. He can go anytime now when he likes. He's got Matthews on the outside. Devon George trying to get up the inside on the restart. Can Matthews find a way to get through on Corbin Anderson? As we see one of the drivers going high and wide, and that looks like it's going to be the 27 of Lindsay Gate. It is going right around the outside of the Coromandel ITM number 27. rounds up Devon George, pulls straight down to that pole line, and he's checked out. He's already stretched ahead away from Devon George. So let's wait and see. Has Lindsay Gate got anything for Matthews and Anderson, running 1 and 2 at this point in time? As the laps tick down, only 5 laps completed at this point in time with those couple of yellow flags. Anything can happen. As we see Leighton Kendall battling with that race car down the back of that flat left rear. Matthews looks like he may have something up his sleeve in the Tiger Turf, number 87. Lindsay Gate running down on that pole line, trying to make headway on Matthews. All drivers looking somewhat line astern. Holly Russell, Brad Curtin in their own little heated battles, a little bit deeper in this one, as Curtin tries to get up the inside of Bo Padgett and the 81 machine of Michael Scott. Can't quite get there at that point in time, as it looks like Corbin Anderson hasn't quite got the speed which he had early on, as we see a massive piece of clay down on the pole line, down on the entry to turn number 1, as a few drivers absolutely nail that and flatten it down, which makes life a little bit easier next time by. But Lindsay Gate on an absolute mission, trying to close that gap. He goes top shelf to try and slingshot and build some momentum. Now as Leighton Kendall retires the Rodney Automotive number 81 to the infield. So some of the drivers we're familiar with seeing at the pointy end of the field, unfortunately not having the best night here in the F2 feature. But Corbin Anderson, the gun driver in the F2s, we're used to calling it and seeing him out the front end. But here comes Lindsay Gate with one heck of a run, trying to get around the 87 of Matthews. He's certainly got some legs in the 27. He's going to try and wind up that race car around the outside, down at minus turn number 1 and 2 once again. Then tries to build that run. Exiting turn number 1 and 2, he bangs up against the wall, exiting turn number 2, but he's got to be careful because the Marley number 94 machine of Troy Jeffries closing that gap in that 4th spot, trying to get onto the last step of the podium here as the laps tick down. 7 laps to go next time by, still plenty of time. As laps for Matthews to try and hold off Lindsay Gate. Matthews will be counting them down, no doubt, but this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th has come alive as Jeffries hits that rut down in turn number 1, which kills the momentum on that race car. But luckily, position number 2 and 3 going at it, hammer and tong, with only 6 more laps left for Corbin Anderson. He's able to stretch that lead more and more. Here comes the big swing around the outside for the Coromandel ITM number 27. And Matthews just making that Tiger Turf machine uber wide, making it completely wide and making it hard for Lindsay Gate to try and get around the outside. He has to check up and loses that momentum, which allows Troy Jeffries to get up the inside. He saw that coming and he's just moving that race car around. He's not doing anything wrong, but there it is. Lindsay Gate moves up into that 2nd spot as the yellow comes out for the 42 of Christian Larson coming out of turn number 4. So whilst that was going on, there was plenty of action going on for that 2nd, 3rd and 4th spot, and unfortunately for Lindsay Gate, he is going to lose that spot back to Matthews. So Josh Matthews manages to prevail and hold in that 2nd spot. And potentially we're 5 or 6 laps left to run, 5 to go, so we will be single file restart here for the final 5 laps. So single file restart, so that helps the likes of Corbin Anderson and Josh Matthews with the hard charging drivers of Lindsay Gate and Troy Jeffries as well. So as we say, ladies and gentlemen, yellows bring more yellows, no matter whether it's speedway racing, tarmac racing, or whatever it may be. So lights are still on, so we're still going to be under caution for another lap. And Corbin Anderson has full control from that CRC 556 cone just on the entry of turn number 3, but the lights are out, ladies and gentlemen, on the edge of your seat for the final 5 laps for the F2s here at Lucas Oil Western Springs Speedway. Single file on the restart here for the F2. Josh Matthews absolutely pushing, literally pushing Corbin Anderson here as they come down to take the green, and Corbin Anderson, nice clean restart there. Josh Matthews slots into the 2nd spot, but here comes the Hail Mary around the outside for Lindsay Gate. He's done it once, he's going to try and do it again and move up into that 2nd spot. He's got the legs and that number 27 machine, and he's going to try and get Josh Matthews down the front stretch. but can't get it done. He's going to try and round him up around the outside at 1 and 2, which is what he did before the yellow came out, and he looks like he's going to get it done. So that just leaves Josh Matthews battling now with Troy Jeffries, trying to hang on to that final step of the podium. Another lap in the books for Corbin Anderson. 3 remaining here as Troy Jeffries just slides up the inside, smooth and fast, and gets it done on Josh Matthews. But it looks like Lindsay Gates actually got something now for Corbin Anderson. So there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, right around the outside. What a move down the front stretch, down into turn number 1. He's been absent for half the season. He comes back here at the last lap at Lukesaw Western Springs Speedway in the F2s. What has Corbin Anderson got for him? We're about to find out as the white flag comes out for Lindsay Gate. Can he bring it home? In the number 27, Corbin Anderson fights back up the inside, trying to make that number 69 race car as wide as possible. But Lindsay Gate drops down to that pole line. Troy Jeffries wants a piece of the pie as well, but Lindsay Gate is going to get there in the F2s. One heck of a race, and takes it from Corbin Anderson. And that is how it is done. And a driver that has absolutely proven a point. Corbin Anderson puts on one heck of a show and almost leads it to the end. But Lindsay Gate used those yellow flags to his full advantage and takes home victory. Confirm those results on screen. Lindsay Gate for Corbin Anderson, Troy Jeffries, Josh Matthews comes home with 4th, and Brad Curtin 5th for the feature.
Well, that's amazing stuff. And Corbin Anderson had such a grip on that race. And then it came down to the Matthews and Gate fight for second place. And then Lindsay Gate took the 2nd place and then took 1st place. What an amazing drive right around the outside, proving there is a high line. All you got to do is stick to it and stick on that groove and keep building up the momentum. And that's how speedway racing works, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the F2s. The midgets and 96 laps for the big finish for the night. That's going to be something different. Sprint cars coming up. See who drops on the high line for that one. But we'll cross down to the man in the middle, Graham Standring, as Lindsay Gate gets out. And give him a huge round of applause, Western Springs. What a drive that was. Got some camera problems out there, so we can't pick up Mike of Graham Standring to interview with Lindsay Gate. But what a spectacular race that was. Corbin Anderson pepped at the post. Troy Jeffries swinging through as well for 3rd place on that one. We'll be making an official podium presentation at the end of the meeting. But we're back up and running, and so let's go out to Graham Standring with the F2 winner.
Well, that was worth waiting for. I'll tell you what, that was one of the best races we've seen for a long time. You never gave up. You never gave up. I thought you'd actually lost it when you had to go back a lap that time, but certainly, wow, what a drive.
I thought I'd given up my cards for the guys in front, but that high line worked really nice for us. It was, yeah, real comfortable. And this card, and I've had it for a good 7 years now, and we're touching on it all, but we've been out of the seat for 2 years, and it feels the same.
Yeah, obviously once you swept the high line off, so swept the marbles out a bit wider, that just got more and more grip, and each time you tried and tried and tried, and just finally got it, huh?
So many questions going through your head when you're going up there, like when we were lapping up, gridding up, it was wet, and I was like, I'm not going to touch this, but no, you've got to try it, and yeah, it's paid off.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, again, put your hands together for Lindsay Gate, winner of the F2 Midget feature. Second place, Corbin Anderson. Corbin, you got your pocket picked, and that's pretty unusual because you're usually, once you get to the front, you just check out.
Yeah, I was watching them on the TV battling, and I thought the top wasn't really working for him, so I sort of got complacent down the bottom, stopped watching the TV, and he blew the doors off me. So all credit to him. He's fast, and we don't see him enough, so it's good to see him on the top step.
You're probably one of the only few drivers that races F2 midgets, a midget car and a sprint car here. Only the F2 tonight, is it?
No, midget's out. We've just been having some, well, I've been having some problems with the car, just sort of, not settling with it. So we ran the B main, but spun up there. So, well, I think we're 17th or something in the feature. We'll see what we can do.
Got 96 laps, 97 laps, you'll be able, 96 laps, you can do something, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, second place in the F2 midget car feature, Corbin Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you.
And finally, Troy Jeffries, third place. Man, you were there all the whole time watching all the action in front of you. Sounds like you've got a big fan base somewhere around there that's a bit excited for you getting third place.
Yeah, it's really good. We always like it when our fans come out here and support us. And watching it from the back, I just trying to see every mistake they would make and try and capitalise on it. And we managed to do that up to third place. I was yelling at myself, 5 more laps to get Corbin there.
Yeah, always 5 more laps, and they'll probably say that in the midget car feature that's 96 laps, so another couple of laps I might have got it. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, Troy Jeffries.
Yeah, thank you.